A reading from the Acts of the Apostles. On the day of Pentecost, Peter stood up with the 11 and addressed the crowd in a loud voice. Men of Israel, listen to what I am going to say. Jesus the Nazarene was a man commended to you by God, by the miracles and portents and signs that God worked through him when he was among you, as you all know. This man, who was put into your power by the deliberate intention and foreknowledge of God, you took and had crucified by men outside the law. You killed him, but God raised him to life, freeing him from the pangs of Hades, for it was impossible for him to be held in its power, since, as David says of him, I saw the Lord before me always, for with him at my right hand nothing can shake me. So my heart was glad, and my tongue cried out with joy. My body too will rest in the hope that you will not abandon my soul to Hades, nor allow your Holy One to experience corruption. You have made known the way of life to me. You will fill me with a gladness through your presence. Brothers, no one can deny that the patriarch David himself is dead and buried. His tomb is still with us. But since he was a prophet and knew that God had sworn him an oath to make one of his descendants succeed him on the throne, what he foresaw and spoke about was the resurrection of the Christ. He is the one who was not abandoned to Hades, and whose body did not experience corruption. God raised this man, Jesus, to life, and all of us are witnesses to that. Now, raised to the heights of God's right hand, he has received from the Father the Holy Spirit, who was promised, and what you see and hear is the outpouring of that Spirit. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Preserve me, Lord, I take refuge in you.
Preserve me, Lord, I take refuge in you.
Preserve me, God, I take refuge in you. I say to the Lord, you are my God. O Lord, it is you who are my portion and cup. It is you yourself who are my prize.
Preserve me, Lord, I take refuge in you.
I will bless the Lord who gives me counsel, who even at night directs my heart. I keep the Lord ever in my sight. Since he is at my right hand, I shall stand firm. Preserve me,
Lord, I take refuge in you.
And so my heart rejoices, my soul is glad. Even my body shall rest in safety. For you will not leave my soul among the dead, nor let your beloved know decay. Preserve me, Lord, I take refuge in you. You will show me the path of life, the fullness of joy in your presence. At your right hand, happiness forever.
Preserve me, Lord, I take refuge in you.
Alleluia, alleluia. This day was made by the Lord. We rejoice and are glad. Alleluia.
May the Lord be in our heart and our lips, and may proclaim his gospel worthily and well. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
Filled with awe and with great joy, the women came quickly away from the tomb and ran to tell the disciples. And there, coming to meet them, was Jesus. Greetings, he said. And the women came up to him, and falling down before him, clasped his feet. Then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers that they must leave for Galilee. They will see me there." While they were on their way, some of the guard went off into the city to tell the chief priests all that had happened. These held a meeting with the elders and, after some discussion, handed a considerable sum of money to the soldiers with these instructions. "This is what you must say. His disciples came during the night and stole him away while we were asleep. And should the governor come to hear of this, we undertake to put things right with him ourselves and to see that you do not get into trouble." The soldiers took the money and carried out their instructions, and to this day, that is the story among the Jews. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Today is the day after the resurrection. Things look grim for the disciples. Everybody's hand was against them. Most of them were Galileans, subject of Herod, and Herod was still in town, and he was not likely to tolerate his own subjects as followers of Jesus. They could all remember that he had had John the Baptist put to death. Pilate was still in Jerusalem, although they would expect him to return to Caesarea once the Passover was completed and the pilgrims had left in their caravans for home. But Pilate, who had sent Jesus off to execution, wouldn't think twice about killing off the disciples of Jesus to eliminate potential disturbance of the peace. Better lie low until Pilate had gone. But the greatest threats were the high priests and the temple hierarchy. Annas and Caiaphas had the mob at their disposal. They had turned Judas into an informer, and he had now topped himself. Disciple John was at risk. He had weaseled his way into the house of the high priest and then been spotted at the foot of the cross. And what about all the supporters surrounding Jesus 1 week ago? All vanished. The disciples were not only demoralized, they were frightened and hunted men. Only a few were aware of what had happened out at a lonely tomb hewn out of the rock on the outskirts of the city. Two anonymous men in white robes had just revealed something quite incredible to three women. Why women? Because the men were in hiding. But for the time being, revelation had come to only a few. Life in Jerusalem went on. Herod regretted that he had not been able to hold a decent dialogue with Jesus, but on reflection, it was better that, as a potential troublemaker, he was now dead, and there would be no more dissident preachers in Galilee. Pilate finished writing his report to Tiberius Caesar, important to get his version of events in first, ready to be dispatched by fast galley when Pilate returned to Caesarea. Down in the courtyard of the fortress, he could hear the shouted orders and the tramp of the reinforcement troops he had brought with him forming up for the march out. Within a week, he would be away from this horrible city. Oh, and he'd better arrange for another posting for that centurion who appeared to have gone native after Friday's crucifixion. Annas and Caiaphas agreed that they had successfully eliminated the threat to their status. Seamstresses were already at work, repairing the split in the vein of the temple. But the body of Jesus had vanished. Right then, give the apprehensive guards a rocket for sleeping on the job and slip them an unexpected bonus for fingering the disciples for body snatching. Friday's crowds had eaten the Passover and were now bound for home, blocking the routes out of Jerusalem in a good-natured human traffic jam. But we know what had happened. Christ will soon reveal himself to his disciples. Rumors will start, miracles will happen, and soon the crowds will gather. There will be mass conversions, and a church, our church, will be born. Because Christ is alive that Monday morning, alive to shortly appear before his disciples, alive to us here in this church and to you out there watching by live stream. He cannot be kept out. And everywhere he goes, he leaves the Holy Spirit behind him to carry on his work, here and today, as much as in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago.